Amityville, New York, 2024. It looked like a normal home in Amityville, New York. A quiet neighborhood, tree-lined streets, nothing unusual. Inside that house lived 4 adults, sharing rent, sharing space, sharing daily life. 2 of them were Malcolm Craig Brown, 53, and Donna Conneely, 59. They were known as private people. No history of violence, no known enemies. The others? They were supposed to be roommates, people you trust enough to live with. From the outside, everything seemed fine. No police visits, no screaming reported, no warning signs. But behind those walls, something was slowly breaking. Arguments began quietly. Money issues, tension over living arrangements, small conflicts that never reached the outside world. No one called the police. No one asked for help. And then, one day, Craig Brown and Donna Conneely stopped answering their phones. No messages, no calls, no sign of them anywhere. Friends thought maybe they moved out. Neighbors assumed nothing was wrong, until something horrifying was found. Something that would shock all of Long Island and turn this ordinary house into the center of one of the most disturbing crimes of 2024. Because what happened next was not just murder, it was something far worse. When Craig Brown and Donna Conneely vanished, no missing persons report was filed immediately. At first, it didn't feel urgent. Adults disappear sometimes, people move out, people cut contact. But then, something terrifying surfaced. In March 2024, a passerby walking near a public park on Long Island noticed something strange near the trees. It wasn't trash. It wasn't an animal. It was human remains. Police rushed to the scene. Within hours, more locations were searched. What they found confirmed everyone's worst fear. More body parts, separated, carefully placed in different areas. Investigators realized quickly, this was not an accident. This was not random violence. This was dismemberment. The remains were sent for forensic testing. DNA results didn't take long. The victims were identified as Malcolm Craig Brown and Donna Conneely. 2 people who had vanished without a trace were now confirmed dead, and the condition of the remains told investigators something chilling. This crime required time, privacy, and tools. Whoever did this was not a stranger in a dark alley. They knew the victims. Police traced their last known location. Every lead pointed back to one place: the house in Amityville, New York, where all 4 of them lived together. A home that now looked normal from the outside. But inside, investigators believed a nightmare had unfolded. And when police prepared to enter that house, they had no idea that the people inside were not just witnesses. They were suspects. Police arrived at the home in Amityville, New York, expecting answers. From the outside, nothing looked wrong. No broken doors, no signs of a struggle. But once investigators stepped inside, the atmosphere changed. The house was unusually clean, too clean. Certain rooms showed signs of recent heavy cleaning. Strong chemical smells lingered in the air. That immediately raised red flags. Detectives focused on shared spaces: the kitchen, the bathroom, storage areas. Then they found it. Tools that didn't belong in an ordinary household argument. Items consistent with dismemberment. At that moment, investigators knew the murders didn't happen somewhere else. They happened right here. Forensics teams worked through the night. They collected trace evidence, samples, and materials that told a disturbing story without words. Meanwhile, the remaining occupants of the house were questioned. Their statements didn't match. Timelines changed. Details conflicted. What they claimed was a peaceful household was clearly not the truth. Police began connecting the dots. The victims vanished. Their remains appeared across Long Island, and the trail led directly back to the people who lived with them. By the end of the day, this was no longer a missing persons case. It was a double homicide investigation. And the people still inside that house were no longer just roommates. They were now the focus of the investigation. But the most shocking part was yet to come. Because what detectives uncovered next would reveal how many people were involved and how far this crime really went. As evidence mounted inside the Amityville house, police shifted their focus to the people who lived there. 4 names quickly rose to the top: Jeffrey Mackey, Alexis Neves, Stephen Brown, and Amanda Wallace. They weren't strangers. They weren't outsiders. They were the victims' roommates. Detectives separated them for questioning. At first, everyone denied knowing anything, but the stories didn't line up. Timelines changed, details were missing, and key questions were avoided. Then police confronted them with the evidence: forensic findings from the house, recovered remains from multiple locations, and proof that the victims were killed inside the home. One by one, the pressure became too much. Investigators revealed that the murders involved meat cleavers, tools found during the search. The reality was impossible to escape. Eventually, the truth began to surface. Police confirmed that Craig Brown and Donna Conneely had been killed during a violent confrontation inside the house. What happened afterward shocked even seasoned detectives. This was not the act of one person. It was a group crime. Some participated directly. Others helped after the fact. By the end of the investigation, all 4 suspects were arrested and charged. The quiet home in Amityville was officially declared a crime scene. But the arrests were only the beginning. Because what came next would divide the courtroom, anger the victims' families, and spark a massive public debate. Once the arrests were made, investigators began separating truth from lies. What they uncovered was disturbing. Inside the Amityville house, an argument had escalated far beyond control. Tensions that had been building for weeks finally exploded. During the confrontation, Craig Brown and Donna Conneely were attacked. Police later confirmed the weapon used: meat cleavers, heavy, sharp tools capable of causing extreme damage. This was not a moment of panic. This was sustained violence. After the killings, the suspects did not call for help. They did not flee. Instead, they made a decision that would turn this case into a nightmare. The bodies were dismembered inside the house. Investigators believe this process took time. Hours, not minutes. Some suspects participated directly. Others helped clean, move, or dispose of evidence. The remains were placed into bags and transported to multiple locations across Long Island. This wasn't random dumping. It was deliberate, meant to delay discovery and confuse investigators. But the plan failed. Because every location, every tool, every decision left behind evidence. And once the truth started coming out, there was no way to stop it. Soon, all 4 suspects faced the courtroom. And that's when the story took another shocking turn. Because the defense would make a claim that stunned the victims' families and outraged the public. When the case reached court, many expected the harshest punishment possible. The facts were clear. 2 people were killed, their bodies dismembered, and their remains scattered. But inside the courtroom, the defense introduced a claim that changed everything. The suspects argued that they had suffered long-term abuse and intimidation inside the shared home. They described a toxic living situation, constant conflict, fear, emotional pressure. Their lawyers claimed the violence did not come out of nowhere. Prosecutors did not deny the brutality of the crime, but the court considered the broader context, including psychological factors and prior treatment inside the household. This decision stunned the victims' families. They spoke in court, describing Craig Brown and Donna Conneely as human beings, not just names in a case file. Tears were shed. Voices shook. Family members said no explanation could ever justify what was done. Outside the courtroom, public reaction was intense. Many believed the punishment should match the cruelty of the crime. Others argued the court had followed the law. As the judge prepared to deliver the sentences, one thing was clear. No matter the outcome, this decision would leave scars on the families, the community, and the justice system itself. The courtroom fell silent as the judge delivered the final sentences. For their roles in the killings and dismemberment, Jeffrey Mackey received 22 years in prison. Alexis Neves was sentenced to 11 years. Stephen Brown received 5 years. Amanda Wallace, who helped after the murders, was sentenced to 1.5 to 3 years. The sentences shocked many. For the families of Craig Brown and Donna Conneely, it felt painfully light. In emotional statements, they spoke about the lives that were taken, the birthdays that will never come, the empty chairs at family dinners. They said no amount of time could undo what was done inside that house. Outside the courthouse, the public reaction was divided. Some believed the court followed the law. Others believed justice was not fully served. The house in Amityville, New York, now stands as a reminder that violence doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it lives under the same roof. The case is closed. The sentences are final. But one question remains. When trust turns into fear, how close is danger really?